Hello everyone, and welcome to our information session, Re.Invent Air Mobility. My name is Romain Erny. I'm a Mobility Director for Choose Paris Region. Choose Paris Region is a non-profit organization supporting international companies that want to set up or expand activities in the Paris region. So today, the main objective is to answer the question we already have from applicants, and also answer the question you may have in the audience. So to do so, you will find on the right of the screen, on the Livestorm screen, a question tab. Then please do not hesitate to ask the question during this webinar. My colleagues Fatima Zara, Joyce, and Alban will give you a short presentation of this call for expression of interest, and then we will take some questions afterwards. We are really excited by this call for expression of interest. We already received some very interesting application, and we are really looking for your question and your application in the coming days. So hope you will find this session very instructive. Alban, Joyce, I give you the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Alban. I'm the Urban Air Mobility Project Manager for Groupe ADP. So we are the first airport operations group in the world with 28 airports under our management, with three main airports in the Paris region, which represents in total 300 million passengers each year, and we see ourselves as an integrator in the urban air mobility ecosystem.
Sorry, Alban, we don't take the sound is very poor. Sorry, Alban.
Is it better now?
Yeah, much better. Sorry for that.
So good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Alban Negret. I'm the Urban Air Mobility Project Manager for Groupe ADP. And we are the first airport operation group in the world. We have 28 airports under our management around the globe, with the three main airports in the Paris region that represent more than 100 million passengers each year. And we see ourselves as an urban air mobility integrator with the natural ecosystem that we have on our airport. And my colleague Joyce will introduce herself, and then we can present you more in detail this call for expression of interest before answering your potential questions.
Thank you, Alban. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Romain and Fatima Zahra. This is Joyce Abou Moussa, Innovation Project Manager. I work within the Innovation Hub within the Groupe ADP for the advancement and the deployment of the Urban Air Mobility Roadmap in the Paris region.
As you have seen on the website, this call for expression of interest is also led by RATP, the Paris region transportation provider. They are operating the metro, part of the bus and the train network in the Paris region. And we believe with those three players, Choose Paris Region, RATP, and IDP, we have a first ecosystem that needs to grow up to make urban air mobility a reality in the Paris region. Of course, we believe the mega trends, the global mega trends, will drive the development of this new form of transportation in the Paris region. When we think about mobility, congestion, sustainable development, we believe taking advantage of the third dimension is key to provide an alternative to the individual car usage in the Paris region. And we would like to structure the ecosystem to make it happen and make it a reality for our territories and for all the people that are on our territories. Speaking of which, as you probably know and you maybe saw on the website, there are 40 million daily trips in the Paris region. So it's both for the 20 million inhabitants that are not only within the inner city but also in the suburbs, and the 50 million tourists that we have each year in the region. And this is the playground we are offering you today. This is a key, we believe, a key future market for urban air mobility, and it's also a very innovative region. It's the first tech and business hub in Europe, and it's for smart mobility. It's expected to be to reach 4 billion euros this year. So it's a future key market for urban air mobility, and that's why we want to make it happen here in the Paris region. That's why we launched this call for expression of interest. And you saw also on the website that we have 5 main categories for this call for expression of interest. This is very broad, and this is why this is because we believe we need very complementary and very different kinds of partners to make it happen. We believe we need to look at the topic in a systematic way and not take every problem by its own without looking at the other dimensions. And that's why we want to address it in this holistic approach. And we are looking for partners in vehicle development, in ground infrastructure, in airspace integration, in operations, but also in public acceptance and all the social and environmental impact that we have to measure and to analyze and to model to make sure this new form of transportation will answer passengers and local communities' needs in terms of mobility. In the Paris region, we also have the opportunity of the Olympic Games by 2024. As you know, Paris was selected by the Olympic Committee, and it's an incredible opportunity to showcase solution, to showcase innovation during this event that will have a major coverage around the world. So for the company that will be selected in this call for expression of it, we offer a showcase, we offer an opportunity to demonstrate that your solutions are working and in a real life environment. We offer also, before the Olympic Games, we offer also a sandbox area, a sandbox setup that is a real test field, an airfield that is operated by Groupe ADP, that is in Pontoise, in 35 kilometers from Paris, with a secure environment, with an air traffic control tower, with runways, with firefighting personnel, with infrastructures that only need technological and other solutions to be tested. And this will enable us to see what's working and what's not working before the Olympic Games. We'll be happy to provide you more details on this sandbox setup if needed. Then we offer, of course, some connection with the partners that are around the table today, but also the other players that we have in our ecosystem. I'm talking about regulatory organizations, but also political and public authorities, and industrial players that we have already around the table. Then the third thing we're offering is an access to, as I said, a future largest smart mobility market in Europe, the showcase during the Olympic Games, and some operational and financing support in the coming months and years. Fatima Zahra, I let you the floor to give us more details on the timeline.
Yes, thank you, Alban. So Fatima Zahra Alaoui, Corporate Innovation Manager here at Choose Paris Region. So in terms of roadmap, applications will be open till November 13th. Then the winners will be announced on December 18th after reviewing the candidates. So then the Sandbox experiments can start off by mid-2021, after, of course, refurbishment of the Pontoise airfield and the first flights that can take place and so on, till we can demonstrate mature technologies and a viable ecosystem during the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. So this showcase will hopefully be a stepping stone to the project scale up and hopefully commercial deployment by 2030. Maybe we could just go back to perhaps the categories of the call for expression of interest, or maybe we can start off the Q&A session. Joyce, what do you think?
Yes. Yes, we could detail the different categories we have so far and explain the logic behind laying off these 5 categories. We've had so many questions with this regards. So mainly the 5 categories respond to 3 main questions. So what does it take to really launch UAM in the Paris region and worldwide? And what does the UAM ecosystem need to progress beyond the prototyping of vehicle, beyond the prototyping of test flight? And what are the challenges that are needed to mainly overlay an operating network of vehicles at the city scale? So mainly the essential 5, this is how we like to call them, the 5 categories you're seeing in details in front of you right now. We start off naturally. We look at the vehicle development, the aerial vehicle component itself, with the aim to address mainly all the challenges related to their technological maturities, the aircraft equipment technologies, the battery performances, the composite materials. We move on to look at the ground infrastructure per se that is required for the takeoff and landing of this vehicle, with an aim mainly to test, 1, the space planning. What is it required in terms of space for this vehicle to land and take off? Challenge mainly the existing regulatory processes and frameworks, what is proposed as well within this current framework, test the energy charging and the energy infrastructure provision requirement, maintenance and repair processes, passenger processing, particularly when it comes to security, because this is a very important process to look at. So we are looking for a proposal that tackles mainly all these aspects, keeping one very important notion in mind, which is the scalability of the solution on this level and the implementation within different urban contexts. The third category, the airspace integration. So mainly, we all know for urban air mobility to be fully operational, we need, beyond the vehicle and the infrastructure itself, the integration within the one airspace that is supposed to be shared by all the aircraft, manned and unmanned at one point in time. So this category calls for solution mainly in the unmanned traffic management, the UTM, communication, navigation, surveillance systems, cybersecurity, solutions for routing and scheduling and rescheduling of the fleet. The objective being mainly to define and regulate the airspace routes, the corridors, as well as the procedures that would ensure this streamlined access of the eVTOL to the airspace, avoiding the conflict, the collision with other manned and unmanned aircraft that are sharing this one airspace. Fourth, the operation network. So besides the UTM component per se, the challenge is mainly related to the communication network and the accuracy of data that is needed to be addressed, the dynamic mapping of VTOLs that is capable of updating in real time, the constant high-speed connectivity for tracking the VTOL and allowing them to communicate with each other and communicate with the existing ATM and UTM systems. And in addition to this component within this category, this category called for the development of digital platforms for operator as well as for end users, with a focus on the intermodality aspect with other existing urban mobility service within the city. And the last category, which is for us one of the most important, is mainly the public acceptance. So like any new industry and any innovation in the 21st century, all the stakeholders will be pushing the envelope to induce technological breakthroughs, to put forward technologies that mainly disrupt existing behavior and disrupts existing mobility service. So this is where exactly urban air mobility has the chance and the opportunity to do it differently. How is mainly to address all the questions and concerns society and communities might have with regards to the insertion of this new mobility platform in their daily life. So mainly, is it safe? Is it affordable? Is it useful? Is it sustainable? Is it low on noise emission? So addressing all these concerns and shaping the local communities and user attitude towards UAM is key in defining the upcoming chapter of urban air mobility and addressing social and environmental challenges as well as economic viability.
Thank you, Joyce. Really interesting presentation. We will, I don't know, we will probably start a series of questions we receive from applicants with you, Fatima Zahra. In the meantime, please feel free to ask your question in the question tab on the right of the screen. And yeah, Fatima Zahra, if you want to start by a question for Alban or Joyce.
Yes, of course. So we've received many questions from applicants that have already participated to this call. So first, maybe we start off with the basic one. So what are the selection criteria for this call? Perhaps Alban, you could give an answer.
Yes, of course. So we have 4 main criteria to select candidates. First one is the maturity of the proposed solution. As you have seen, we have an ambitious roadmap, and we want to demonstrate in a real environment as soon as possible in the coming years some very concrete examples of the benefits of urban air mobility. And that's why we are looking at mature solutions first. Second criteria is the compatibility of your roadmap and your capacity for implementation. It means the ability to integrate into our ambitious roadmap and to contribute to the existing small ecosystem that we already built. Third, we will have a look at your teams, your expertise, your knowledge, how it complements other players that are already around the table. And fourth, we will have a look at the innovative aspect of your solution. In which way does it compare to existing solution, and is it also state of the art compared to other solutions that your competitors could offer. Those are the 4 main criteria that we are looking at during the selection process until the end of this year.
All right, thank you, Alban. Also, another question from the audience: are sustainable aviation fuels part of the project? Perhaps maybe Joyce could give an answer to this one, since you've mentioned categories.
Yes, sure thing. If I got this question right, we're talking about I mean, electrification. We're talking about a new form of mobility that's based on electrical energy, and mainly what perhaps I mean we did not mention is mainly UAM is a new form of mobility that is based on electric vehicles, electrical vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, and mainly we're targeting, we as an ecosystem, and the OEMs, the manufacturer per se, they are targeting electrical energy sources for the functioning and operation of the system.
All right, thank you, Joyce. Then another question from a startup that is developing unmanned aircraft for intra-city logistics. Is this kind of technology eligible to apply, or is it like only for urban solutions? Alban, would you care to answer?
Yes, of course. So, of course, it's eligible. When we talk about urban air mobility, for us, it's the transportation of goods and passengers through the third dimension. So, of course, it means solutions that are able to carry one or several passengers, but also payloads for logistic application or medical application that could be of very good value added to the current transportation and logistic mix in the Paris region. And we believe we believe also that suburban use case will be the first to emerge for regulation and acceptability reasons. That's why we have some ideas of use cases of transportation of goods around suburban location in the Paris region.
Also, there's another question is from Alexandre. Do you have already progressed on collaboration with existing urban air mobility players, such as Volocopter, Airbus? I think maybe I can give an answer to that. So there is an interest in Volocopter solution, and it has been showcased at the start of this call for expression of interest. But all applicants are free to apply and can be part of this ecosystem. Perhaps maybe Alban or Jos can give a follow-up.
Go ahead, Joyce.
Yeah, so just to add on that one, I mean, by nature, as an airport operator, we are agnostic, and this is the approach we're adopting towards all the players in the ecosystem, an agnostic and open approach to collaborate with all the potential OEMs that are willing and capable to align and integrate within our roadmap, whether Volocopter, whether Airbus, or other potential OEMs that are capable to demonstrate, I mean, their capacity to integrate within the roadmap we just presented to you. So at any point in time, we do not envisage any exclusive partnership with any of the OEMs, and we really do believe in a collaborative approach with all the potential partners, because this is the way we're going to be advancing the UAM industry.
Also, other questions about financing and which kind of fundings are proposed. So, as said earlier, we're looking for companies that are willing to auto-finance their participation in this ecosystem. So there is no such for now any funding proposed for the applicants.
Yes, I think what's important to say here is that this is only the first step. We want to see what are the potential partners that are interested in this roadmap and that want to join and join the milestones that we have presented. And at this time, there is no direct financing that is attached to this call for expression of interest. However, as a second step, when we start building some concrete projects together, then we can work together on unlocking some funding, which could be at regional, local, national, or even European level. And we have seen already some example of large funding capacities that are put on the market to develop those kind of solutions. So we really believe by creating this first ecosystem, this first industrial consortium in the Paris region, we'll be able to unlock some funding and to work together with established partnerships that will be easier to set up versus non-established partnerships between players. So this is the first step in the Paris region roadmap, and we hope there will be other to get some financing together.
Thank you very much, Alban. Another follow-up question. So what are the types of partnership that are encouraged? Are local partnerships in the region being weighed more than external partnerships? Joyce, maybe you could give an answer to this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can take this one. We really are happy to have candidates from the Paris region already established and from France, but also we are looking for very innovative companies and technology from all over the world. So no, there is no restriction on is it only for French or Parisian companies. It's a call dedicated for all companies implementing solution in the 4 verticals we identified.
Also interesting question. What about fuel cells using hydrogen? Yes, this one, as maybe Alban could give an answer to this one.
Yes, of course. So of course, fuel cells technology based on hydrogen are very interesting, and we will be very happy to receive some candidates on these types of technologies. What Joyce said earlier is that the idea is to work on use cases around transportation of goods and passengers, and the technology to do so is open. I mean, we want to have a sustainable way of transportation, and then it can rely on electric propulsion, hydrogen propulsion, or other types of fuels that you may have in mind, and this is very interesting for us. And then the idea will be to work also with universities or laboratories to make sure that the solutions that we are developing are sustainable and safe enough to be accepted by the local communities, and to offer an alternative form of transportation to existing means of transportation in the region.
All right. Then maybe we move on to another question. So do you have any requirements regarding company size, turnover, time in existence, and references? So as Alban mentioned earlier, for the criteria for selection, there are no requirements regarding the company size, only regarding the maturity of your solution, and also if regarding the team's expertise and knowledge about urban air mobility solutions, and that's it. There's no restriction about company size, as long as you have a viable solution that can enter this project within the roadmap. All right. Another question again for Alban this time. So it says like you mentioned operational and financial support for in the coming years. So can you maybe expand what this implies and if there might be some sort of funding during the expression of interest phase? Alban, would you care to comment on this one?
No, sorry, I was not clear enough. Maybe we meant that at this stage, during the expression of interest phase, there are no funding that are directly allocated to this initiative because we need to build together concrete projects that are fitting into this roadmap. Once these projects are imagined, are concrete, are designed together with the partners that will be selected in the ecosystem, then we can apply to financial mechanisms at regional, at national, at European level to make sure those projects are able to go live. So this will be in the second phase after the selection of the first partners that are willing to contribute by the end of this year.
All right, then another question. What is the maturity level that you might want to see in the next 2 to 4 years? Versus 4 years. So really, the Alban, do you have an answer to this one?
If I understand the question right, I think the idea of the Sandbox initiative, of the airfield that we will put at the disposal of the partners, of the selected partners, to test different kind of technologies or solution in this concrete area. What we want is to make sure that what we will be able to showcase during the Olympic Games in 2024 will be tested and safe and sustainable enough to be worth the showcase during the Olympic Games. So we can work on 2 dimensions, designing the solution for the next 4 years, and at the same time experimenting with what's already available, what's the solution that you have already available to test some technology bricks in the Sandbox environment, and to work on the solutions that will be mature within 4 years.
Thanks, Alban. We have another question about the categories. So among the 5 themes presented, on which ones are you the most interested in? Maybe Joyce can answer that.
Or I can do it if Joyce has connection problems.
Yes.
I think what it's clear from the partners that we have today around the table is that we have no ambition in the vehicle development part of this ecosystem. So I would say that we have the lowest maturity on the vehicle development part, and we'll be very happy to host and to welcome partners that are willing to contribute on these technology bricks, and to bring their vehicles or their equipments, their technologies to the urban air mobility Sandbox in the Pontoise airfield. On the other themes, I think we have part of the solution, but again, we don't think we have all the solutions, and we really count on you to progress and to make the answer of our groups and the demonstration of the Olympic Games be concrete and ambitious enough with your support.
Also, interesting question. Thank you, Alban. So, do you have any plans to integrate weather impacts on UAM operations in this call, and how? Maybe Joyce, you can give an answer to this one if your connection is okay. Or... Joyce, can you hear me? Okay. Maybe we've lost Joyce now. So regarding this, your question, Remy, yes, I think you're free to can apply for in the operations category. I think your solution could be a good fit.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, we believe weather monitoring and weather modeling and weather forecasting is key to make sure we have operations that are economically viable. Without precise and accurate weather forecastings, will not be able to operate a service that will be affordable for the maximum of people in the region. And it's very important for air operations to have reliable weather forecast. So we will welcome some solutions on weather forecasting that are not part of our core business and not part of RATP or Choose Paris Region core businesses, of course.
Thanks, Alban. Also, so we have another question. Have you defined or have suggestion of any regulations, concepts of operations, or ecosystem requirements that you expect to see integration into it? Regarding regulation, Alban, do you think you can answer this one? If you're still there.
Yes. So the Sandbox area and the Olympic Games will be in Paris region. So we will have to make sure that the solutions are fitting with French regulation that are mostly derived from European standards. So I'm talking here about EASA regulation that are also concepts of operation that are being defined by other European bodies like EuroKA, for example. And those are the standards that we will have to fit with, and we will have the support of EASA and Eurocontrol to make sure we can integrate your solution in those concepts of operation or regulation requirements, because we will have them on site to guide you and to help you integrate your technologies in those requirements.
Okay, another question, this one regarding collaborations with the ADP. So if selected, could you explain how it is going to, is there going to be a collaboration between ADP and the selected company? What resources should the company put in place? Alban, could you give an answer to this one?
It's very difficult to give a general answer to. I can say that it's really depend on the type of solution. Maybe if you could precise the type of solution you are talking of, then we can precise this. We can give you a more precise answer. Because if we are talking about vehicle testing, then it means more resources than market research, for example, or acceptability studies with local communities. So it really depends on the type of solution. We have some teams on the ground. RATP will put also some teams and resources on the ground in Pontoise. And then it's really up to you to tell us what are the resources that are needed from our side to make sure your solution is working in our environment.
All right, thanks a lot, Alban. Okay, another question. Has your team identified operators, so aircraft developers that would be interested in operating in this space? And additionally, how are local communications network, energy providers, hydrogen suppliers identified to work with solution manufacturers? Yes, already some actors, some aircraft developers have already positioned themselves to be part of this ecosystem. And if the question is to name which specific ones, well, we have already Volocopter that have expressed their interests. And yes, if there are other solution manufacturers are applying on a day basis. Every day we're receiving more and more applications for this one.
Fatima, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry for the connection problems. I mean, it's ironical. We're working on innovation of the 21st century, and we still got connection problems. So just to complement your answer on that one, yes, definitely. If the question is, have we identified? I mean, all the players, mainly in the ecosystem, who has positioned themselves in the UAM industry, have been identified, especially the local ones. And as we've said before, we're open to collaborate with the ones who's been identified and the partners and potential partners who are willing mainly to respond to this call of proposal for manifestation of interest.
Thank you, Joyce. So another question again, this one about UAM, so the localization. So is it only in Paris region or outside Paris region? How much kilometer range both in and outside Paris region is expected? And other parameters like endurance, range of travel for vehicle. Alban, could you give an answer to this one maybe?
It really depends on the type of solution. The Pontoise airfield, so the Sandbox, the living lab that we will set up next year, is 35 kilometers from Paris. But there are a lot of things that could be tested around this airfield before trying to reach other spots in the region. And there are a lot to be done in the air traffic control area around Pontoise airfield. before trying to go out and try to do some connection between a point A and a point B. The use cases that will be looked at are very vast and broad, and there are some there are space for very different kind of solutions. So if you give us your parameters, then we can see if it makes sense for us. But we don't think that 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers range are interesting for economical and time-saving perspectives. But happy to discuss it more in details with you.
Thanks, Alban. Also, one maybe last question. So in the sandbox, the partner may share innovation solutions not yet commercialized. What is the process in place to avoid the disclosure of the IP to others, especially competitors? So yes, we've already outlined this one. Maybe Alban, you could go on, or perhaps Joyce, if you'd like to give an answer to this one.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, as in any partnership we have within this innovation framework, definitely. I mean, the basis is signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement with our potential partner or the selected one, and based on which we collaborate and we move forward. As for the potential collaboration in between partners, I mean, this is the objective of the whole call, is mainly to build this ecosystem and mainly put all the potential partners to work together and to advance the whole ecosystem together. As for the direct connection or collaboration, I mean, in between partners, we leave that mainly to the liberty of the potential partner to share, to the extent to which they can share or not the information in between them. I mean, when it comes to us, I mean, Groupe ADP, CPR, and RATP, definitely we're going to start off the basis of signing NDAs to protect in a way this intelligence properties.
Thank you, Joyce. Then another question. So is the team open to meet with individual teams during the call for response to talk about how we could participate or how we have to wait till after the submission? So we're already reviewing candidates. So we're reviewing as the applicants as during this process. So you're welcome to apply, and yes, if after reviewing we'll contact you to get further into details. I think that sums it up. If you have any additional questions, feel free to send us your questions at on the website. So we already have a mail address where you can send all your follow-up questions. I'm going to share it to you.
Yes, we have a dedicated email address called info@reinventmobility.com, so you can see it on the screen. And yeah, you have all this information on the website again, reinventairmobility.com. And you can also, the session was recorded, so we will send you a link. You can reshare or see again this session, this information session. But again, thank you for all the questions. And I don't know, Alban or Fatima Zahra or Joyce, if you want to have a final word for this information session.
All right, thank you all for your questions, and we hope to see you apply in the following days. Yeah, as for myself, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you all. Thank you, Joyce, Fatima, Zara, and Adnan. Yeah, we have.
I think Fatima, if we have no further questions,
we have bad connection with our colleague Melvin from the US. Just send you a call to action. He is organizing a tech meeting, UAM tech meeting, via chat with Groupe ADP, the World Economic Forum, and startup pitches with Volocopter and many others. So it's on November 17th, and it's organized by a colleague in San Francisco. So yeah, you have the button to register. And thank you, Melvin, for sharing this.
Yes, thank you. I guess then this sums it up. I don't know if you have some final words, Alban.
Yes, thanks a lot everyone for joining this session, and we are looking forward to receiving your application, and we'll be more than happy to have follow-up calls with each one of you to discuss more in details your proposal and to make sure that it integrates into our ambitious roadmap in the Paris region.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Van. Bye-bye. Have a great afternoon.